morning. It's
Good morning.
well, it's early, right? It's a little bit early. It's a little bit early to be on camera, I think, but thanks for doing this with me. I'm here with Veronica Garcia, who is a member of Sonoma County Professional Women. Veronica, you are what we would call a lady boss. Like you are.
I am a lady boss.
You are a lady boss. You are a branch manager of the Healdsburg branch for Bank of Marin. You are a mom. You are involved in the community. You contribute to so many different organizations. And I just think it's exciting to get to know you a little bit better, but for all of our members to really have an opportunity to get to know you and to chat with you a little bit about what it is you do and who you are. So let's get started. Tell me a little bit about your involvement in Sonoma County Professional Women, but also your professional endeavors in Sonoma County, so your work.
Yes, so I have been in the financial industry for about 15 years. In September, it'll be 15 years. And I've always been very operational in my industry. And it's something that I really enjoy. I enjoy solving. I enjoy developing people, leading teams. It's very fulfilling for me. And you and I met a few years ago, and Sonoma County Professional Women is something that was so exciting for me to hear about. I really enjoy a group of leaders, a group of, different hats, different cooks in the kitchen. I really enjoy getting feedback and best practices. And I have had a really good time just being involved with all the ladies of the Sonoma County Professional Women.
Yeah, I love how you're saying the different hats and the different cooks in the kitchen, because we're all from different industries and we all have different value proposition, passions that we bring to the table. And yes, it is a very dynamic organization. I see you have a little special guest.
I have a special guest with me. That's what we do.
Yes, that's what we do. We're going to get to your special guest in a second, but there are so many diverse members and voices in Sonoma County that allows us to ask for feedback, ask for what it is we need, and get a different perspective on our work and our lives. And so Sonoma County Professional Women really is a great organization for that. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to meet in person due to shelter in place, but we've been having the virtual meetings, and these kinds of interactions have been really kind of fun and helpful to everybody to get to know each other a little bit better. So you were talking about solving problems professionally, and you said, I love solving problems and developing people. I'm so intrigued by that because those are two different, one is more operational, right? And one is more relational. So how are you blending those two sections or fields together in your career and in your personal life?
Yes, so being in operations, it's kind of like the guts of organizations, the ins and outs, how things function. And one of your roles as a lead is to teach those things to people and develop team members, develop your teams. So I've always had a very big interest in solving. And I learned throughout the years in my career to not give answers, but to teach and to show resources and to help people think outside the box or, come up with their own solutions, and at the same time be responsible for the outcome of the task or whatever it is that we're focusing on. And it's been a joy to be able to learn all of this throughout my years in banking. I've been in different financial institutions, and they all have different ways to develop team members. Some are more tech driven, others are more relationship based. For instance, this company I'm with is very relationship based, kind of like the old fashioned banking. And it's amazing. It's amazing to see how customers and how team members interact with you as the leader of the pack, I guess, the boss lady, and it's very rewarding. It's very rewarding, and it does tie in with personal life, like you mentioned, because it taught me a lot about how to develop my teenager, how to not always just give him the answers, but let him find who he is, find his voice, find his passion, his focus. And it's been very, very interesting to me to see how he's developing into his own person.
Yeah.
And it's just like every day you do that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. As you were talking about solving problems, leading, teaching people, not giving them the answer, but leading them to almost through a process of discovery where they can find their own answer while still keeping on track and achieving the goals. It really very much starts with you, right, as the professional, as the leader, and your own self-leadership. So you're talking about how much you've learned, and I'm curious about what is one of the biggest lessons, or something that stands out to you that you have really has really changed the trajectory of maybe how you perceive career and your personal life as a mother and a leader in the community. What is one of the biggest things that stand out to you in terms of lessons you've learned or skills you've acquired over time?
Yeah, that's a really good question. One of the most recent lessons that came to me was, I thought that it's all about perception. It's a perception thing. I thought that a certain situation that was happening was negative, and it was actually not negative. It was actually the person didn't know how to approach me, and that really opened up my eyes as far as, what kind of leader am I? Am I all across the board the same type of leader, or am I one way with one person because of title? Am I treating people differently because of that? So it really opened up my eyes to be more aware of how people perceive me. Am I an approachable person? And I had to change some of the ways that I was doing things, and the ways that I was asking questions, or the way that I was leading huddles and things like that, so that everyone felt the same. It's not about, you're a teller and you're a banker and you're a supervisor, and it's about, you're all my team, and all of your opinions in the same way matter. And I think that when I had that aha moment, I realized that you learn every day, and you have to develop yourself every single day. Even though you have all of these years experience in leadership, there's still room for more development, self-development. And it's impactful. It's impactful for your team when you're not developing and you're not recognizing that you need help in certain areas. So it really grounded me.
I love what you're saying. It reminds me of this, that I'm currently really paying attention to in my own personal and professional life. One is integration and one is alignment, right? So really looking at who we are and how the impact we're having and the impact we're wanting to have. So it's this constant assessment and continual refinement of ourselves, and sometimes even our processes and even our goal can get refined continually to integrate and to align and integrate everyone in our teams and in our communities, and pay attention to what their needs are without, I think a lot of times leaders are afraid to change. They're afraid to, make a pivot, make a shift, and then it kind of blows out the other end, right? But pivoting is really this our small incremental measurable steps toward a new direction. And so when you're speaking about that self-awareness and making small changes and adjustments, your team must have felt so seen and so heard and esteemed because you made that change. So thank
Right.
you for reminding us of that. So you have this special guest. You are a
I
mom of two.
do.
We were just chatting
I
about.
do.
I'm so there's never done when you're a mom, you're a busy woman in business. I know that women always get this question, and I really don't love it. And it's, how do you juggle everything? I know that that's not how it works, but I am curious about how do you set priorities in your life, personally and professionally, so that you can feel loved and cared for, and you can
Yes.
have the time you need to recharge.
Yes. I am very fortunate to have my mother who doesn't work, and she's always been from day one, from my first child that was born. She was all about hiring, raising my child. She was like, I'm there, I'm gonna help you, I love it. And so the support that I've had from my mother has been phenomenal. And I'm very open with my team. I'm very open with them, letting them know, when things happen, when I need to bring someone in, when, if I need to leave, if they need to be here. And it's worked out because they're mothers too. And they understand that it's hard. And especially being, playing the mom and dad role is challenging. It's so challenging. And my son has also been a very big support, the oldest, because he's 16 and Adriel's 4. So my teenager he's like mini dad, and he's great at it. He understands that there's responsibilities as a family that we need to do, that he has a role, I have a role, and then if we work together, everything will be okay.
Sounds like
But
it's just you have help. It takes a village, right? None of us do
it
it
takes a
alone.
village.
The village, and it's really great to hear that you have that support. And again, it's back to that integrating other people into your flow, into your support system, and even your team, letting them know that this is just part of what it takes to be both professionally
Yeah.
and personally successful.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I've worked for many different types of bosses throughout my career, and there have been, instances where I wasn't able to, have flexibility and say, this is what I need, I'm just one person and I need to do this. And so I never wanted to be that. I wanted to be relatable. I wanted people I want people to trust me. I want people to come and be able to open up to me and be able to say, I need your help. Because I think that if you can't ask for help and know that you're going to get support, it makes the environment so much harder. And it's, sometimes you're already way too stressed out dealing with your personal issues to not have support at work
Yeah.
or with, like I said, I have my mother, but if I didn't have her, I don't know where I'd be. I'd be pulling out my hair or something. But
Yeah. No, I think that, you're mentioning these words that we hear from all women. We want to be supported, we want to feel inspired, and we want opportunity to grow. Women really just are craving that in all sectors of the professional, gamut, whether you are just starting out in your career or you're thinking about starting, a business, or wherever you are on the spectrum of career choices and opportunities. We want to feel supported, we want to feel inspired, and we want the opportunity to grow. So Sonoma County Professional Women has a wide range of women who are in all stages of their professional and personal development. So we really want to pay attention to attracting even more women who are wanting to learn about how to be the best version of yourself, right? And bear this responsibility, and also that we are leaders in our community. And I love how you integrate those elements into your own life. Tell me a little bit about your community involvement. I've learned just recently that you are sitting on boards and you are doing different kinds of things in the community. I want to learn more about that. What are some of the organizations that you feel passionate about, or causes that you feel passionate about in our community?
Yes, thank you for asking. I am on the membership committee with the Chamber, with the Hillsborough Chamber, and it's an area that I truly, truly enjoy. It's retention. It's retention of people. And I enjoy being able to go out and talking with the small business owners and asking them, what do you need from us as the chamber? What is your expectation of us as your chamber? And getting feedback. But also because it gives me the opportunity to hear stories. I really enjoy stories of how people got to where they are and the passion that they have when they talk about their businesses. And it inspires me. I take away things from having conversations with people about their businesses and what they're passionate about. So I was the treasurer for Hillsborough Center for the Arts, and because of everything that's going on, it's been difficult. You know, Hillsborough Center for the Arts is a very great organization. It's about art, but they have classes for children and seniors, and I mean anybody. There's different categories, but for me, it was an organization that really spoke to me because both of my children were born very, very prematurely, and they always, from the beginning of their life, they had developmental difficulties. My eldest has a lot of fine motor skill difficulties, and art and the creativity part really helped develop and get him to where he needs to be now in life. And so any kind of program, organization that focuses on helping children, especially children, really draws me in. And so I learned a lot from the other people on the board, you know, about how important it is to continue to nurture kids with art and to continue to, as a community, how it brings everyone together. You know, music and art is just something that really brings people together, and it's what we need now more than ever. So I've always enjoyed being part of that. I'm very, very focused right now with the chamber, developing programs for client outreach, and it's just something that I thought that, you know, I enjoy what I do at my job, but when this came along and being involved with the membership subcommittee, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
this is great. This is great.
Well, I'm sure
It's
you,
really great.
Veronica, that you are using this word develop in almost every other sentence. You're so focused and so intentional about taking that word really seriously, developing yourself, developing your team, developing the community through your involvement in the chamber, and then looking, you know, from your own personal experience as a mother. I can so relate to that when you have small children who are challenged in their development, to find creative and effective ways to continue to grow them and continue to develop them. And then just really your involvement with the arts, the impact that has on the community. So I'm going to find out more about that with you, and we'd love to maybe get the Hillsborough Center for the Arts involved in doing a little bit of a workshop or something. We'll come up with something that if you're open to that would help more people learn about it, and also that raise that awareness of developing our youth and ourselves through the power of arts. So I love how intentional you are about that word developing, and you're weaving it into every single thing you do. Are you even aware of that, or is this just something that
No. No, until right now that you're saying that. Yeah, I think it's just, for me, it's what am I going to learn today?
Yeah.
What am I going to tweak? You
Yeah.
know, I did something yesterday, but I know that I can do something different and I'm going to learn something different from that.
Yeah.
So it's always been kind of how I led my personal life and my professional life. And I think that's why a lot of people appreciate, you know, when they're in front of me and when I take them under my wing kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you like a very short story. When I started my career, I was a teller. And I remember being there and I was 6 months into my job and I kept getting called to translate. And I said, oh, that's interesting, you know, that they need a translator. Okay. So I finally just one day went up to my manager and I said, I want you to make me a banker. And he said, and why is that? And I said, well, because I want to help on this side. I think that there's a bigger need for me to be on this side of the bank than on the teller side. And he said, okay, well, let me think about that. And some things happened and he ended up being able to move me and promote me to being a banker. And then I started to continue to help people. So it's kind of how I am. It's like, I know that there's a need and I know that I can help and I can make a difference. I'm going to ask. And so I did that. And then 6 months later, I saw that there was a need for leadership in the operation world in the bank. And I asked again, I said, well, I think that I could be of use on this side of the bank with this stuff.
Mhm.
And the flexibility that I got, I was very fortunate to have flexibility with the management, and I was able to do that move. But I've learned since that day, since '05, when I started in the financial industry, that you need to speak up. You need to say, I can do that. I know I can do that. I want to do that. I can make a difference, and ask for the opportunity. And
Yeah.
I was in an operational role for 9 years. Yeah.
When you're talking, it just reminds me, this is a huge takeaway. So thank you so much for sharing that story, because what you're talking about is you're finding a need, you're curious, you ask yourself every day, how can I make a difference? How can I be the best at what I'm doing for this particular role that I'm filling? And then you find the need and then you fill the need, right? I think that's a lot, that's proactive. I think a lot of times we see something that needs to be changed. We're not brave enough or courageous enough or confident enough to say, I'm going to fill that need and I'm going to be dedicated to filling that need. So that development in yourself and that willingness to take on the challenge and see a better outcome, right, than what is currently there. I think that is what the world needs, right, especially right now. And you were mentioning relationship at the beginning of our call. I feel like that's exactly where we're heading. We are, my hope is that through all of this, we are recognizing how important relationships are, and that anything else that we've been trying to, shortcut getting to the relationship, that's all falling away. We're needing to be much more intentional about who we're talking to, what their problem is, how we can support them in solving that problem, whether it's through a soft skill or an operational skill or a hard skill that we bring to the table, whether it's a product or a service that you provide. What I'm learning from you and what you're confirming here is it's about relationship. It's about finding the need and then being willing to fill it. So thank you
Yeah.
for giving us that nugget. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really and a cool reminder to get from you. So thank you.
Yeah, and we shouldn't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
It's not a failure, right? It's how you learn. And even if you don't know how to do something, as long as your intention is to make something better, I think that when you clearly state, I don't know how to do it, but I want to be able to help and change something, that person will give you an opportunity and will teach you. And sometimes those leaders, because again, a leader should always be developing, not I don't know everything. I know that I have a lot of experience, but I'm not perfect, and I develop every day. And I think that when a leader can recognize that and will give you the opportunity, that's great. You know, that you came in knowing little to nothing about something, and because you took ownership and you wanted to make a difference, they gave you the opportunity and you were able to do it. That is huge when
Yeah,
it comes to the employee and to yourself.
yeah. I am so grateful that you took this time in the middle of your workday while you were having your son with you and you are juggling all the things. But you're such an inspiration to me because you were I've known you for we've known each other for a couple of years. You're always so consistently kind and present in every situation. I very much, I remember when we first met, I noticed that about you, and it's been consistent. And just your own personal growth and professional growth, even over the short years that we've known each other, it's such an inspiration because you go for it. And I know it's not without its challenges and without its hard days, and you still do it with grace and you do it with focus. So thank you for taking the time to share with us and for being a friend in the community to me and for being a lady boss, professional woman.
We can do it.
I can, yeah, we can do it. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see you in person when that's again allowed and acceptable. But in the meantime, thank you for taking the time to chat virtually. And I hope everybody who's listening has just enjoyed know you a little bit better, and they can contact you on socials, and also your contact information is on our website. So thank you so much, Veronica, for taking the time. I hope you have a fabulous day. Developing everyone else lucky enough to know you.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye.